as Avinash underscore T user, he have permission on code commit, right? So this user have an access key ID and secret access key, right? So those access key ID and secret access key, I need to configure here. The command is AWS space configure. So then you gave access key ID, secret access key, region, output format, enter. So then whenever you're giving like commands like a git push, git pull, git clone, such type of commands, right? Whenever you're giving such type of commands, so this command prompt will point to my AWS account. Why? Because you configured CLI user. Okay. So when coming to our laptop side, AWS CLI tools is mandatory, Git application is mandatory. From AWS side repository and whatever user we are working, that user need to have permissions. Okay. Laptop side software and Git software and CLI software. Clear with that? Now on top of this, so basically to access this Git, we have multiple options. Okay. So we have Git SSH option, Git HTTP option, Git HTTP SRC option. So the third one is more secure. Okay, I'll show you what are those. But before that, first, I need to verify whether I have CLI credentials configured or not. I have .aws. Okay. I have some credentials, that is 2FJ. Right. If I don't have, I'll configure one. That is the reason I'm verifying. So for this user, no access. Whatever access key ID configured, then that is not available anymore. So I'll do one thing. I'm creating an access key ID and secret access key for this Avinash user. Okay, this is the access key ID. So the command is AWS space configure. It's asking for access key ID. Given that, secret access key. Given that default output AP South 1, we are good with it. Default output format none. Okay, just to confirm AWS is as well as, so it is listing all S3 buckets. That means, okay, it is configured perfectly without any issue. Right. So now, as I told you, so this user have administrator access, guys. So manually, I don't need to give any code commit permissions and all. If you want to add only code commit permissions, go to attach existing policies and give code commit here, code commit full access, power user access, read only access. So power user means he can perform everything apart from giving permission to other user. Okay. Equal to full access, but minus user management. Read only, you know what exactly it is. Okay. So IAM part is now completed. Let's create a repository now. Go to code commit. Okay, let me create a repository. Click on create repository. So give a repository name. And I'm going to call this as a my code repo. All right. So you can give a description, my project one repo, Java repo. So we can give any. So then scroll down and create. Right. So the repository is created. Fine, it is in AWS account. Now I want to configure this to local, right? So here, as I told you, HTTPS, SSH, HTTPS, GRC. So GRC means Git remote code commit. So this is a recommended method and widely used method. SSH also you can. So here you see you need to configure the Git host and all. You need to add this identity and all. Then you can. So, but this is pretty simple. It uses AWS CLI credentials you stored. Right. So here But before that, you need to install a small package called git remote code commit. Install this git remote code commit package. All right. So pip install. Basically, you need to have Python. Here you can find prerequisites. So you can install Python. So then you can install GitHub. So then you can go and install this package. Just run it. Just run this command after installing Python. It will install. Once that installation is completed, so we need to clone this to our local laptop. So what exactly clone means? Another copy in simple. So one copy will be in AWS. I'm going to take exact same copy in my local laptop. So where we want to, that we can decide. Okay, I want to open this command prompt. Desktop, there I'm creating a folder, my code. Okay, so if I go into that my code, I have nothing available here. Even manually also, if I go to desktop, there is a folder called my code. Do I have anything now? I don't have anything in this. But whenever we clone that central repository, automatically one folder will create a folder structure or whatever code we have already in central repository that will come here. So for that, copy this command, execute this command here. Then click on enter. It is cloning into my code repo. Okay, you appear to have cloned an empty repository. Empty repository means we don't have any files, anything. So if you observe here, earlier it is empty, but now it is showing my code repo. Now, if I go inside here, if I am performing any modification in this location, Git will detect that. Git will detect it. Okay, even if I run any pull command, the code will come here. Latest changes pushed by another developers will come here. Okay, so it is empty now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to that particular folder, right? So you can always depend on a command called git status. Always remember this. Git status, git status, git status. You don't know something, run git status and get the status. So primarily you need to remember 3 or 4 commands. Git status to know the status. Okay. Git add, git commit, git push. That's it. Your code will go to central repository. Git status will tell you the status. Fine. I'm going to create a simple file. Okay. So I'm using an editor. I'm going to write, this is my first document for Git. So I'm saving it on the location. See, I'm saving it in the my code repo. Then save. Name I'm going to give this first.txt. Okay. So now the file created local. Fine. Now, when sometime back executed this git status, it says nothing available. I'm executing same command again. You see, the git is now able to detect, okay, there is a new file added. I'm not sending to central yet. I'm working in my local laptop only. I'm doing all my code changes and everything. Okay, it is saying there is a new file. The first thing, whatever new file is added or modification you perform to track changes happening on that file and all, we need to enter a command called git add. Okay, so then Git will start tracking all changes, modification happening in the location. So it detected a file. I want to track, you see here, nothing added to commit, but untracked files present. It is saying untracked files, I want to track it. So for tracking, the command is git add. Where is your code? The code is in the same location. So I want to track current location. Basically in Linux or Windows, we can refer current location with dot. Previous location, double dot. So I'm adding dot. Now click on enter. Command executed. If I execute git status again, you see, it is saying, okay, now earlier it is in red color. You see, it is in green color and it is saying, okay, we are tracking this. We are tracking all the files or changes happening in this location. Fine, it is tracking. Now, so basically we have a concept called local repo and remote repo. The file is tracking. First, we need to commit this to our local. For that, the command is git commit. So you can simply give git commit and enter. But for easy understanding, okay, this is my first edit, second edit. For example, if it is a real code, you're working on toolbar option 1, he's working on footer, he's working on header, right? So how we are going to identify? For example, I need to work on 10 features. I completed feature 1. When I am committing it, if I give a commit message, feature 1, edit completed. So, okay, in this commit, I done with first option. So later I worked on another feature, I can give another message. So easily identify what exactly thing you performed, what modification you performed. You can commit that. Okay, so go here, click on enter. Now one file changed and it given a commit ID and all. So again, the command is git status. Now it is saying your branch is based on, but upstream is gone. Nothing to commit, working tree clean. So that means, so we committed to our local. Okay, so here, do we have any code here in this repository? Do we have any files? Empty repository. Now, from my local laptop, I'm giving a command called git push. When I click on enter, now what happened? Whatever data I have in this local repo, that entire data now comes to AWS. You see here, first.txt is here. So without logging to, just to show you, I'm switching to console and I'm showing it. But now, if I'm working on something, for example, I created a file, vim index.html. Okay, I'm giving, this is my second edit. I created a file in this location. If I give git status, it is saying, okay, again, untracked file. I want to track it. What is the command? Git add dot enter. Now, okay, if I give git status now, it is fine. It is tracking all that. Now, I want to commit to local. Git commit. We can see, simply you can give git commit also. But what commit message you want to give, right? So what commit message you want to give? So aborting commit due to empty commit message. I have not given any commit message. So we can give -m test2, then enter. It is happened. Now, is it file came here? Not yet. So until you push it, it won't come. Git push. Now the file came here. Okay, so now these two files I created here. For example, he is also working on same project and he is on leave or recently he joined to the project. Whatever existing code we already have here, he want to get that. Okay, so simply he can clone this repo whenever it is for the first time. So he also need to have permissions. And what is a command? Here is a command. So go here, this command. So simply you can paste this command, git clone. So when he enter this command, automatically what are the code we have here in repository, that all will come to his laptop. Now he is going to work on a file and he can commit, I can see that here. So everybody, 5 developers or 10 developers, end of the day, we are going to put it on entire code into the central location. Okay. So if you want to get latest, so basically, for example, 2 files are there, I did a mistake and he corrected that mistake. And he said, okay, I already committed to repository. So then what I need to do, whatever changes he pushed here, I can pull it. Git pull. So then those all changes will come to our local. And whatever the commits we perform, those all commits we can find it here. Go to these commits. So you see here, feature 1, edit completed, test 2. So even not only adding a new file, guys, for example, we have this first.txt, right? So I have added just one space. That's it. Not modified much. I have just added one space. If I give git status, again it is saying this file is modified. Okay, even space also it detect. Again, what is the command? Git add, git commit, added space, then git push. So now, if we go here, if we refresh the commits, you see added space came. If I want to see, if I go here, this commit ID, it will show what exactly happened. Here, browse file content, it will show what exactly happened. So this is a file content. So we can go here. Right. So we can browse. So if you add something, for example, instead of this, did I close it again? Right. So instead of that, I added some more lines. So then I can go here. Directly, can we push it? No. So git, can we directly commit? Says modified. So always you need to send it to staging. Okay. So you need to send it to stage. For that, git add. So then you follow. Okay, git commit, then git push. Go with this flow. Of course, if you are a bit advanced, you can do that. Okay. So, but let's go with this flow. I'm assuming you are at very basic. Yes, someone. Yes, please.
I was how to clone particular folder only in repository.
Particular folders. These I'm not sure.
First we'll clone.
Yeah. Yeah. First, we will clone. Whenever we clone, everything will come. So cloning
Yes,
means
yes.
it's applicable for entire repository.
Yes. But we need
But
only
whenever
particular folder.
from repository,
Yeah.
I never come across that. I need to check it.
Avinash, there is a clone URL, right? Using git clone can clone that.
Yeah, but he don't want to clone everything. He want to get only the specific folder. Yeah.
Mr. Avinash, we can do like, can we do like this? Git pull and what the file, I mean, what he required, can we mention that name and can we pull it?
Okay, we need to test it. Just yeah. So it won't. Right. So clone means everything will come. Clone applicable to repository. Yeah. So I'm not sure what exactly your requirement to get only specific folder from a repository. I've never come across such type of requirements, but that's a new question for me. I need to give it a try.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Even if you create a folder also, you will get the folders there. So now, so this is code commit part. So you need to remember git add first, git commit -m commit message, git push. Okay, the clone is to get entire repository. And before that, you know the things, right? You need to have AWS CLI, then git GRC, git remote repository, the tools and all. So then you can work on it. So now I'm going to remove these files. And I have a simple code. I'll add that code here. And this repository, I'm going to use it for CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so I have some files here. I'm moving all that files here. Okay. So now if I give git status, some files deleted, some modified. Okay. So why we are getting modified, So we deleted it, but again I added new file with the same name. That's the reason it is picking as a modified. So fine, the command is git add, then git commit -m, actual code, git push. Now all git data came to our repository. Just give a refresh here. So this is a simple Beanstalk simple code, right? So now, so clear so far? Now, last session we discussed that, right? CI/CD mechanism. Whenever any developer commits something, pipeline need to trigger automatically. So generally, the earlier process is take the code, prepare the package manually, deploy it. Once it is available, testing team will come and they will test it. So then they will move it to non-prod, then it goes to prod. So that is a process. But I want to automate that process. Whenever any developer commit any code here, whenever any developer committed anything here, the pipeline need to trigger, it need to deploy to my server automatically, and that output need to deliver automatically. Okay, so to perform this, we can use an option called CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment or delivery. Okay, so how we can do that? See, the same, to perform same thing, we have n number of the tools. To store code, what are the tools we have? To store code, we have Git, we have code commit, we have Bitbucket. Okay, fine, you are using one of the software to store the code. Now, I want to prepare a build for that code. What are the softwares we have? What software, sir? Jenkins is for pipeline. Maven and Gradle.
And
yes, exactly. To prepare that build, we have Maven and Gradle. So again, organization is going to use all the three tools? No, they will stick to only one. Again, to store code also, organization is going to use all the available ones? No. If they are good with AWS, they will use code commit. Otherwise, they can go with the Git also. You can integrate Git also here. You can integrate Bitbucket also here for this pipeline. Okay. So then, we need to take that code and we need to place into a server. We can take an EC2 instance. We can deploy it as a CloudFormation stack, or we can deploy it to an Elastic Beanstalk server. The prepared package, the build, we need to place into a server. So that is now who do all these things? We have Cruise CI, we have Solano CI, we have Jenkins, we have AWS code pipeline. Organization who uses AWS, okay, they really no need to go with Jenkins. They really no need to go with the Git. They really no need to go with the Ant, Maven or Gradle. They no need to deploy it to a server, a physical server. Okay, so we have all alternative tools. You take code commit instead of Git. You take code build instead of Ant, Maven. You take EC2 instance or Elastic Beanstalk or CloudFormation. So instead of a physical server, you take AWS code pipeline instead of Jenkins or Cruise CI or Bamboo or Solano CI. All alternative tools available in AWS. Okay, now some of you might have a big question mark. Okay, do I need to learn DevOps after this AWS course? My answer is not really required. Okay, so why? Because I already shared Git. So you practice that Git, you practice with code commit. So Git is completed. If you join DevOps, what are the things you are going to learn? Yes, sir. What are the things you are learning now? First, Linux. We discussed basics. I have given Linux course. Next, you learn Git. We discussed code commit. Pretty simple. Again, you are not a developer. You are not going to work. See, DevOps is different. Developer is different. These are all commands developer will do. He's going to work on the code. You are just the responsible for automating that pipeline to create that pipeline to automate the things. So are you going to use this Git command and all on daily basis? Not really. Fine, okay, you learn Git. Then after what you're learning? Maven, I already covered that in this given Jenkins course. Next. Jenkins, I given a Jenkins course. Next. Instead of Docker, instead of that, you know EC2 in and out now. Okay, you know EC2, deploy it to an EC2 instance, add a load balancer on top of it, add a Route 53 on top of it, add a CloudFront on top of your load balancer and deliver it. CloudFormation. CloudFormation. Kubernetes, we have ECS, that is our next topic. Docker is nothing but Docker, ECS, EKS, all into same category. So AWS have a managed container service that is our next session topic actually. We will discuss what exactly it is. Now next. So now tell me, do you really need a dedicated one? So organizations who stick to a cloud provider, they will try to use all that service provider services. Who stick to an open source one? Yes. Of course, if you want to integrate that or if you want to practice those things on AWS, of course you can do. You can take a server, you can make it as a Jenkins. You can integrate that Jenkins server with a code commit and all. So that's the reason I told you from starting onwards, okay, wait, concentrate on infra. So then you can go with it. Then you can decide. So my personal suggestion, if you really want to learn after this AWS course, if you are okay with programming and all, learn Python, at least basics, very basics, fine. So, you can mention, okay, I can write a Python script. I can write a Python program that can tweak AWS, that can create a script bucket, that can launch an EC2 instance. That Python code can stop an EC2 instance periodically. You can add all those things with AWS. Okay. If you have enough time, so then learn this containers. Again, for containers also, Kubernetes is very complex one, guys. Trust me, I tried to learn and I left in between. So AWS have a service called ECS. So it's pretty easy and we are using ECS. I'll show you. Okay. So how exactly we are using and I'll definitely log in and show you. So we are using ECS. That is very easy. There is a service called Fargate where AWS does everything on behalf of us. All we need to do is define a job definition and all. Task definition, AWS will do everything for us. Underlying compute capacity and all. So no complexity, nothing. So, okay, that is our later topic. So for now, so we'll see how the pipeline is working. So again, why I have given that Jenkins, that Git and all, yeah, if you want to add that to your resume, if you want to talk about that, so you need to have some knowledge. So that's the reason I prepared that Git course. That is why I prepared that Linux course. That is why I prepared that Jenkins course. Within that Jenkins, we already discussed Maven. Maven is part of that Jenkins. First thing. And second thing, that entire Jenkins and everything configured on AWS environment only. Okay. So if you join a specific course, they will explain in a virtual box. Okay. Or they will take a simple EC2 instance. But will they talk about EC2 in and out? Will they talk about load balancers and all? Are we not going to use load balancer in real environment? We use.
Yes.
So that's the reason. First, concentrate on infra. Once you know infra in and out, then concentrate on automating that. That is my suggestion. Okay. So if you like it, you follow it. Otherwise, yeah, it's always up to you. So after this course, if you don't have any issues with coding and all, learn Python. Otherwise, learn JSON or YAML. YAML is recommended one. YAML, then learn these containers in and out. I'll share a resource where you can find free container courses. Okay, I'll talk about that in our next session. Okay.
Mr. Avinash?
If it is a general question, I'll take after some time. We'll discuss about pipeline. Yeah, please go ahead with your question. Is it general question?
You said that you said that we can learn Python, right? That Python code also we can generate from form to, right?
Forma 2, we cannot, but yeah, see, code generation, we have a number of the tools to generate the code, but you need to know at least how you can modify it
Yeah.
based on the requirement. You need to have some knowledge how to modify that existing code. Okay.
Yes.
So that
Yeah.
level of knowledge is okay. So that's the reason basic Python is fine.
Okay, Mr.
So,
Anand.
however, as I told you, I'll share that resources. I already documented that. I'll share that. Okay. So now the code is in my repository. So now my requirement is whenever any developer committed anything here, whenever any developer committed anything into repository, the pipeline need to trigger automatically. Okay. So then it need to deploy into one of the server automatically. I'm going to use Beanstalk here. Okay. So I'm not going to configure any Apache, all those things. Those all I did in Jenkins course. Refer that. Okay. So I'm going to create a Beanstalk. Whenever any commit happened here, this code is going to take automatically. It is going to deploy into Beanstalk automatically. If I perform any modification, if I commit, that changes need to come to out. That changes need to come as output automatically without any manual process. Okay. So end of the day, we are going to do it. That is what CI/CD means. That is what a DevOps engineer will do. The pipeline should not broke. It should work as expected. What is a tweak to trigger? What is a thing to trigger that pipeline? Committing. Developer, whenever he commit a change, the pipeline need to trigger. Even Jenkins also same thing. Whenever any developer commit any change to repository, GitHub, then pipeline is going to take. Either it is upstream or downstream. We have such type of options. So then it is going to execute a command for build. Then it is going to deploy to a given server. Okay. So here also we are doing same thing, right? So now let's go to the pipeline on the same page. So you see here, there is a pipeline option. Expand that, go to pipelines. Click on create pipeline and give a pipeline name. So I'm going to, okay, before that I need to create a Beanstalk. And Beanstalk actually, I'm creating it in a default VPC, okay? Right. So let's go to Beanstalk. First, create an environment. Create application name. I'm calling it as my CI/CD 900 test pipeline is the name I'm giving. What platform? The code is in PHP. Basically, why I choose PHP? It doesn't require any build. PHP doesn't require any build. It will take and it will deploy into server. So I'm taking PHP. Okay, then scroll down. I'm going with sample application for now. Click on create application. Now, Elastic Beanstalk is creating. Fine. So it is going to give a simple test page. The output is going to be very simple test. Don't inform to Naresh team that I told that not to join any DevOps course and all. They'll come to me again. It's like, in outer market, right? It become as a trend. But, whenever you sit for interview, what are the things they're going to ask, They will ask you AWS. They will ask you Azure. They will ask you GCP, ECS. There is a memo, name, a small video. They will ask you Linux administration. They will ask you rocket science. They will ask you everything. Okay, even can you clean the floor also, they will ask you. Right. So, nowadays job descriptions I'm talking. Okay, on a lighter note.
Yeah, but I
So,
think if you are
Java, .NET, Python, Node.js, okay, Chef, Puppet, SaltStack, Ansible, okay, data lake, right, and CI/CD configurations. On top of this, again, you need to have just 3 years Why? Because their package is 12 lakhs only. Right? So they're adding lot of things in nowadays in job description. So again, so you just need to showcase your commitment or enthusiasm towards learning and all. Then they will consider that is a secondary thing. So, but no one is going to be expert in all the things. If 60% job description is matching, then you are eligible. 100% it won't match. Okay, 100% it won't match. That is the first thing. And second thing, your interview will happen only on two things. One is based on your resume, and second thing is based on their requirement. So, for example, if first they will start with their requirement and all. So, if you're okay, if you're matching 50% of their expectations on their services and all, then they will come to your resume. Okay, fine, you are matching 50% there, but at least whatever the points you mentioned in your resume, whether you have good command on the services or not, whether you know in and out about the services or not. So if yes, then you got a job. Even if you are not completely matching with their job requirement also, that interviewer thinks, okay, this guy can learn quickly and all, then definitely they will consider your profile. So again, remember, no job profile matches 100%. Okay, this Beanstack pipeline is Beanstack is ready. So this is current output, guys. Okay, it is giving some sample output. Now what I want to do with the help of a pipeline, whatever the code I already have in code commit, that PHP code need to deploy to this Beanstack server automatically, and it need to deliver that web page. That is what my requirement is. Okay, so for that, create a pipeline, give the pipeline name. So my pipeline 9 AM is a name I'm giving. It is going to create a service role automatically. Then click on next. And where is your code? Where is your code? So go here, select. If your code is in code commit, select it. ECR is our tomorrow's topic. If your code is in S3 bucket, even to perform this automation, what your developer can do, they can zip entire code. They can take all the code, they can zip it, they can put it into S3 bucket. So then this pipeline will take all the code from S3 and it can deploy to a server also. You don't require a dedicated repository services also. You can use S3 to store your code. But the problem is we cannot edit. We cannot do the commits and all. You need to get all the code to local, then modify, then zip it, then upload it. Be difficult to manage. And you cannot track the changes also. To track the changes also, you need to download, you need to track. But if you are using code commit and all, commit ID, you track. It's easy. Okay. So Bitbucket. If you want to use Bitbucket, if you want to integrate, go here. Connect to Bitbucket. Give your Bitbucket credentials, connection name. Connect to Bitbucket. So then it will take us to that Bitbucket and all. Here, give your Bitbucket credentials if you have. So then Bitbucket repository also will come. Okay, so this Bitbucket is not owned by AWS, it's third-party one. And also, we have Git also. You know, every day I'm sharing the document, right? How I'm sharing? Git. Why I'm using it? It's free. If I put it into S3 bucket, end of the month, I'm going to get charged. Right, for get request. Okay, so I'm using Git. Why? Because it is free. So if you want to click on connect to GitHub, you give your GitHub username and password. And here you see, these are the repository. Every day I'm putting code into this October 2022, right? October 2022. So whatever code I have there, that also we can get it. Okay. So, but we have it in our code commit, right? I'm selecting code commit, my code repo, main branch. Now, how this pipeline is going to detect the changes happening on our code. See, I told you how pipeline will trigger. Whenever any developer commit change, this pipeline will trigger and it is going to deploy latest. But how it will detect? We have two options. One is CloudWatch. CloudWatch events. Technically, it's an event bridge. Event bridge will detect the changes. Okay, whenever any code commit happen, it will tweak the pipeline. That is one option. That is intelligent and always recommended. The second one is code pipeline. This is not so intelligent one. How exactly it works? For every 5 minutes, it will trigger. For every 5 minutes, it will go and verify, okay, in last 5 minutes, any changes happen? If any changes happen, it will trigger. If no changes happen, it won't trigger. For example, it checked now, immediate minute, some code updated. It won't detect immediately. We need to wait for 4 more minutes, then only it will detect. Okay? So I'm selecting the first option. Then click on next. Now build, as I told you, it's a PHP code. Build is not really required. If you have any Jenkins server in AWS, you can integrate that from here. Add Jenkins. What is the provider name? What is the server URL? And what is the project name? You gave that information here. Okay. However, I don't have now. So now this is a deploy. Where do you want to deploy your PHP code? I have Beanstalk. Go here, select Elastic Beanstalk. Where is your Beanstalk? It's in Mumbai region. What is the application name? I'm selecting application name and environment name. Now click on next. This is a review screen. We are creating a pipeline. It takes code from code commit. It deploys to Beanstalk. How it will trigger? Whenever any new commit happen, it will. So click on create pipeline. So to deploy this, you can use Beanstalk, you can use EC2 instance, you can use CloudFormation, you can use containers, or you can tweak another service like a batch and all. Now you see, so far this is the output, just observe. Okay. Now the pipeline is triggering. Sometimes it will give an error. Just release the changes again. Insufficient permissions. Okay, it is something with role. Okay, just retry. It is a known thing only. Whenever you did first time, it might fail or it might success. So it is success now. So now the deploy is happening. So basically, these all not certification question topics. You won't get any questions in your any of the certification. It's excluded topics. Primarily for solution architects, completely excluded topics. You see here? The code got changed. Now I'm going to modify it. So here is my code in my local laptop. I'm not connecting to AWS now. Okay. So I'm taking this index.html and I'm modifying it. Okay, I'm replacing this. Hello there. This is my first updated deployment with CI/CD. Okay, I'm saving it. So I did a modification in my code, right? So first, what I need to do here? Git status. It is saying index.html is modified. Git add. Git commit -m. Okay, first edit on real data. Then git push. All right. Earlier, this is the page. This is my second deployment and all is the output page. Let's wait. So go to this pipeline, give a refresh. You see here, it's triggered. I'm not doing anything, okay? If I go here, if I give a refresh, in some time, you see, it changed. Did I perform anything? Just from my local laptop, I committed. Then pipeline took that code changes, it used, it deployed it. Now, if I go here, if I do some another modification, for example, instead of this first updated deployment, this is my second edit, then I'm giving some, I'm just doing some modification, okay? Again, git add, git commit, then git push. So this pipeline will, you see, it's detected and it is figuring automatically. And those changes will come here automatically, right? You see, second edit and all, it is coming. So in between, I want to add one more step. Or generally in our organization, we are going to add some steps like a testing, or in between, you can integrate with Jenkins, you can do some activities, testings and all, then you can deploy to instances. You can add, or else my requirement here is, I want to add a manual process now. So whenever any developer commit any change, a team lead or supervisor need to review the changes, and if he approves, then only those changes need to deploy. If he reject, that deployment should not happen. So a manual approval process I'm adding to this pipeline. Okay. So for that, first you need to have an SNS topic. So then go to pipeline, add a step, edit the pipeline. Between the source detection and deploying that changes, add a stage, give a name. Manual is a name I'm giving. Add action group. What is the action group? Manual approval. Action provider is a manual approval. As I told you, if you want to integrate Jenkins, you can do that here. If you want to deploy to S3, then it need to deploy to the server. You can do that here. Or if you want to invoke different service, whenever any code committed, I want to tweak a Lambda function, I want to trigger a step function, we can do that here. And you can add that. So let's go with the manual. Then what is the SNS topic? EC2 down alert. Okay, then click on down. Done. Then save. Now I'm doing some changes on this code. Okay, this second edit added manual approval process. I did some change to my code. Git add, git commit, then git push. Now, what happened? Here it is showing 2 minutes ago. Now give a refresh. It detected it and it won't deploy now. If you wait for 2 minutes or 4 minutes, it won't happen. Okay, now you see there is an email, prod EC2. So you need approval for following the pipeline. So if you give a TL is subscribed to this SNS topic, or a code reviewer subscribe to this SNS topic, he will get an alert. Okay, this developer committed a change. Now he can review what exactly the commit message, what things he performed. He can review it. Now, if he want, he can approve or reject it. If it is rejected, that particular deployment don't happen. If he approves, then only the code will deploy to the server. Okay, so let's wait for a second. You see here, added manual approval process. Yesterday, I told you that issue, right? So generally, these deployments and all we perform on Saturday. Okay, I missed it on Saturday. Dev team guy came and he asked me, he's kind of a friend. He asked me to deploy it on Tuesday, Monday night. I did it. We assumed it's a very small change and all, but there is a human error and application broken. So that's the reason. Yeah, I was completely busy. Yesterday I told you. even yesterday also. So basically, the thing is, it's in production environment. We should not do all these things in prod. We review periodically, like, only on weekends we do that. Right. So yeah, yesterday there is a PIR call happened. Post implementation report. So why it happened? What need to do to not get into such type of issues and all, and lot of questions. Right. So these deployments and all basically happen over weekend. We simply, I'm demonstrating here, right? So even the commits will store in repository and all, like we review it, we deploy it periodically, not just while going coffee, we deploy it, it won't available for prod. Those things we do it in dev. Okay. So in dev and SQA, you can do it. But when coming to UAT, you don't do that. UAT specific period, periodically we will do it, we'll test it, and prod deployments and all happen over weekends only. Okay. So this process not applicable for production. Whatever pipelines you are discussing, right? That is also won't happen always in production environment. We will take a specific green zone windows. During that windows only we'll perform it. That's how it works in real environments. Okay. Right. So this is code pipeline, guys. If you if you want to dig it more, you can discuss it for coming 30 days also. If you list all the available tools. So, but stick with this in interview. In interview, if the interviewer asks you, okay, do you have any experience with CI/CD? Or are you using any CI/CD pipelines in your project? Say yes. Don't say no. Say yes and mention the same process. Okay, we have a client. He's a very small client. So he's using Beanstack. He really don't want to manage, or he have just a single application. Okay, no maintenance. He really not ready to pay for maintenance activities and all. So we suggested Beanstack. Okay, so we configured a pipeline. Periodically, we do deployments. So for that pipeline, we are using code pipeline. The code is in code commit. We are using Maven, that is part of Jenkins, or code commit. Okay, so then we are using Beanstack to deploy it, or an EC2 instance to deploy. If you complete the Jenkins, we can mention EC2. If you don't have enough time, if you don't want to talk about that and all, you mention same, and it is a very valid one. Some clients obviously using this mechanism. Okay, so basically AWS comes under infrastructure as a service. It varies from organization to organization. If my company is using S3, there is no guarantee that another company also should use S3 only. They might use their own service, the storage service. If my organization is using an EC2 instance, there is no guarantee that another company, they might have their on-premise servers. Okay, so it varies. So whatever answer you are giving, make sure it is valid in terms of this configuration infrastructure and all. Okay, so that is acceptable. Right. So yeah, that is about CI/CD. Any questions on this?
Sir, good morning, sir. Here any sequence, sir?
Sorry?
అంటే ఇక్కడ ఏమన్నా మనం సీక్వెన్స్ ఫస్ట్ కమిట్ వెళ్తాము దాని తర్వాత బిల్డ్
Yes, it is a sequence. It goes in a sequential manner. Always first commit will happen. After commit, build will happen. After build, deployment will happen. These three, how it will happen? Whenever pipeline trigger, whenever pipeline detects the first change,
ఓకే సార్
then these remaining three process will happen. In between, you can add manual process, you can add testing, or you can add Jenkins. Okay, so you can add a lot of. Even we have a lot of tests like Ghost UI test. That is a UI test. So you can add such type of tests also.
లాస్ట్ పైప్లైన్ సార్ కోడ్ పైప్లైన్ లాస్ట్
First, see, pipeline will trigger. This guys disable the annotation actually. I am not able to draw the diagram.
ఓకే సార్ నో ప్రాబ్లం సార్
So, So if you take it, basically it's it look like this. First, this is entire pipeline. Okay, this top one is entire pipeline. This is code commit. Your code is here. Once any code changes happen, this pipeline will start triggering. So then build will happen. If you added any testing and all, the testing or manual approval here, approvals and all. So then the deployment will happen. So these all happening with the help of pipeline. So image wise, this
okay, entire flow is a pipeline. Okay, sir.
yes.
Okay.
These all things are happening with the help of pipeline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Avinash,
One
can you
pipeline
please-
is free. Yes, please.
Can you please
Yeah.
give a glance on how the real time works or how the real time tasks will be happening?
This is real time only, right? Like
Yeah, I can understand that, but in a company, how they will give the tasks or how we will pick it, how it's gonna be happening.
okay. So that, yeah, I will talk about that. So I thought about pipeline. So if it is a regular, ticketing and all, I'll talk about that.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Avinash.
Sir, what is a code artifact, sir? Left side is there. Commit out.
Sorry, which one?
Code artifact, sir. Code commit kill on the other, sir.
It's an artifact of our code. So we have a concept called artifacts. Okay. So if you want to store your code artifacts, you can use it here. So again, these all things I discussed in the given GitHub course and Jenkins course.
Okay.
So here the purpose of it is the high level overview about these services. Again, multiple times I mentioned, even if you take this AWS Solutions Architect C03, there is a PDF copy from AWS. So if you observe, if you scroll down to bottom, see out of scope AWS services, you see code commit, code build, code deploy. These all, tomorrow we are going to discuss Cloud9 and CDK. Okay, so these also out of scope. But organizations started using it mainly who want to add some DevOps flavors to your resume and all. This will help. That is the reason we are discussing. So if you want to go in detail, you go with the Jenkins course, you go with the, given GitHub course. Yeah. So primarily what thing required, so that we are discussing.
Yeah.
Avinash,
Thank you.
one question: why do we require external tool? Because it's all are available inside the AWS. What are the
So
restrictions?
basically, these all tools, in AWS, if you are using this pipeline, so the repository and all, it will cost us. So if you are going with the Jenkins, it's free. That is the reason. It's an open source tools. Most of the tools, organizations, right? So if they don't want to spend any amount, then they can go with such type of open source ones. Again, the logic or mechanism is very simple in general terms. So why someone buys a Maruti car, another guy buys a Skoda car? So different requirements, right? Their comfort and all. So the security and all. So by considering all this, if it is an open source tool, if, for example, some bug identified in Jenkins, it is an open source tool. Okay. So as it is a free, organization started using it, but there is a bug. Who will fix a bug? When it comes to open source, a community user need to come voluntarily. They need to work on it, they need to test it. Okay, if they don't have funds, these things will not happen. Right. So, but when coming to AWS, if something detected in AWS, so obviously that's AWS responsibility. They will team immediately work, they will fix it. That is the reason they will cost us. And if you got any problem in Jenkins or open source tool, whom you will ask? If CentOS is free to use, but if you got an issue in CentOS, can you ask anyone? But if you're using Red Hat is a paid one. If you got an issue, there is a team who provides supports, right? So you can get support from Red Hat. So to provide that support, to maintain that organizational, the things and all, so they will cost us. So here the cost is primary thing. Yeah.
So what are the cost here in case of we create one pipeline?
One pipeline, okay. Basically, I'll talk about that. There is a web page. Again, remembering each and every service cost is a bit difficult. Okay. Even if someone asks me, I'll always refer this. There is, even if you ask me what is the cost for T2 Micro, I cannot answer that. So there is a web page called calculator.aws, AWS pricing calculator, get estimate. So in what region you are creating. All right. So then service, AWS code pipeline, configure it. In what region? How many pipelines? What is this? Okay, one pipeline. Save and add service. So for one pipeline, it won't cost us anything. So if you're taking multiple pipelines, for example, I'm taking 100 pipelines, you see $99. So one pipeline is free. If you are taking two pipelines, $1. So you can practice it. One pipeline comes under free tier eligibility. You can practice it. But for every single pipeline, you will get charged $1 per month. Less only, right?
But organization, right, or the company are using only one pipeline, but it's not small but big. We generally use one pipeline, one project, right?
Yeah, then it is free. If you are using only one pipeline, it is free. How many times it is triggering, it is free. But when coming to the repository and all, the cost is different. For example, so you need to put code into code repository, right? So how many users required access to that repository? How much code you are storing? That will cost us again. And again, where you are deploying into an EC2 instance, again, EC2 instance, you need to take care about costing. So if you have only one pipeline, it is absolutely free. And one repository with 5 users also free. One repository with 5 users also free. It won't cost us anything. Right. So I thought to discuss about CI/CD also today, but we'll discuss that in our next session. So how about session tomorrow?
Sir, these 10 days, excellent topics is going on, sir, really.
Okay.
After 10 days, really, I'm heartful thanks, sir, really.
Yeah.
This is only subject, sir, actually.
Yeah.
Really heartful thanks, sir.
Okay. So next session is on Monday.
Sir,
Yeah.
yesterday మీరు ట్యాక్స్ చెప్పారు కదా అది సైట్ చెప్తారా ఒకసారి
You mean airflow? Airflow అడుగుతున్నారా? You are asking about airflow?
అది రెజ్యూమ్ కి సంథింగ్ లైక్ ట్యాక్స్
Badges, sir. That is badges. So DAG is like a different technical terminology. So
Okay.
DAG, we will get it in airflow. Someone raised this, right? So the badge, here it is.
AWS skill program.
So I'm uploading this application services document over GitHub. Did I uploaded that? Oh no, no one even asked me. Okay, I'll upload that. Okay, so this is a application services. So there is a document called application services. So here, if you scroll down almost bottom, no, it's not available. Okay, AWS digital badges. Yeah, this is a URL, guys. I'm sharing that in our chat box. Just Google it, AWS digital badges. So you can find here AWS learning badge. What is an AWS learning badge?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. And make sure you delete Beanstack also if you try this. So Beanstack comes under free tier eligibility, just go with the default options. Pipeline comes under free tier eligibility. Repository comes under free tier eligibility. So whatever the topic we discussed today, spend some time and practice it. It won't cost you anything. Okay?
Sir, all are there in GitHub in application. Are there any apart from any Slack, sir?
We are using only two places for material. One is Slack, second one is GitHub. So every day preparing that, like, the notepad document I'm referring, those all are available under GitHub. If you want, I can do one thing. I can download that entire one and I can upload it into Slack. So this is a zip file. All GitHub documents are available now also in Slack. So why I'm sharing it in Slack? If I put it in GitHub, everybody is getting access to it. Like, another guys also. So I'm putting a lot of effort and someone is taking credits for that.
Yeah,
even if you go out in market and if you ask in any Xerox center, if you ask for Avinash Reddy material, they will give you, and half of the pages, the name is Arjun Reddy. I don't know who renamed it. So such type of things are happening. So that is the reason I'm sharing it over Slack. So only paid members, only registered members available here. So that is the reason. And some material like, AWS official study guide. That is the official study guide. I have a pirated copy. I'm sharing it. If they want to take legal action, right. So they can write. So because of such type of things, we are using these closed ones. Okay. Someone posted some free LinkedIn courses. That is good. But before posting, verify whether it is really free or not. Okay. And don't post good morning and good night messages after the course. We experience that. When festival comes, right? All happy Dasara, happy Dasara, happy Dasara. Right. Even on Sunday, also happy Sunday with a chicken symbol. Right. So don't do that. Use it for official purpose. After the batch also, this platform will be available. If you want, you can post your questions or you can discuss. Okay? Yeah. All right. So any questions before closing the session? So we have two more sessions. One is purely developer. Okay. So again, how many of you interested to attend that AWS CDK session and Cloud9 session?
sir.
So manaku oka topic unnadi. Cloud9 and CDK ane oka topic. It's purely developer topic. Okay. It's purely developer topic. So we can do one thing. If you guys really interested, we can have a session tomorrow from 7:30 a.m. to 8. No. Okay, we'll discuss it on Monday. Yeah, we'll discuss it on Monday. So if you really not interested, you spare some time and you practice remaining topics on Monday. If you're really interested, you join. But Tuesday, again, we'll discuss containers. Okay. So then we will discuss the resume preparation and all those things we'll discuss on Tuesday. Okay.
క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇంకా షేర్ చేయలేదు సార్.
Questions share చేయలేదు. I already did that, sir. So if you observe the Slack channel, so there is a document called final share. It's a 300 MB document something. So again, I think I might take a leave on Tuesday. I'm really sorry, guys. It's a planned one. Yeah, we'll discuss. We don't have session on Tuesday. Okay.
ఓకే సార్, నో ప్రాబ్లం.
All right. So, yeah.
Mr. Avinash?
Yesterday you
Yes,
shared.
please.
Yeah, it's a tricky. I mean, after getting our job, and if we got our job in future, if we have any query in our task, would you like to help us to solve that?
Yeah, definitely. But there is no guarantee for SLAs. If you ask me to fix it or respond within an hour and all, so definitely, I'm a working guy.
Yeah.
I'm a working, most of classroom guys knows where I'm working and so my office timings are 2 to 11. Right.
Okay.
So it's difficult for me to spend a lot of time. So the reason is morning 2 sessions. Okay. So till 11 o'clock, I'll be here only almost. So then I have only some time, that 11 to 1:30. That is only my personal time. I need to spend with my family. Then again, office calls will start. If you observe my calendar, calls. So most of the times I may not pick that. So, but definitely I will. Even if you post that thing here, if someone knows answer, definitely they will respond. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Avinash. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, that's it for today's session. See you again Monday. Have a nice weekend, guys. Thank you.